Ohio, so it's about an hour south of here. But I definitely am planning to stay in Cleveland after I graduate. And that's because when I was looking at schools, the city of Cleveland was really one of the main points that made me come here. I was looking at schools in Columbus and Chicago, but when it came down to it, I could really see myself staying in Cleveland for a few years after I graduate. So I am really passionate about the city, and we have two panelists here who are also passionate about Cleveland. McKenna is our president of the Student Union and Programming Board here, so they're the ones that put on all the events throughout the school year for students, both on campus and throughout Cleveland. And then Jen is from the Destination Cleveland. She's a senior communications manager there. And so Jen will tell you a little bit more about Cleveland as a whole, where it's come from, where we're headed, so a nice overview of that. Obviously, we have a pretty small session here, so if at any point you guys have questions, definitely feel free to ask those. This session is also a blue and gold ticket session, so those are the tickets that you fill out and drop at the help desk back in the atrium to win some really awesome prizes. So make sure that you get those on your way out. But without further ado, McKenna, do you want to start here? Sure. Yes.
Awesome. Okay guys, like she said, my name's McKenna. I'm a current junior as well. I'm an HR major, so I'm in the business school. And I'm presenting to you guys about how SUPB engages John Carroll students to explore Cleveland. So, the Student Union at John Carroll is two parts. Student Union is the legislative body, and then I'm the president of the organization called Student Union Programming Board. We focus on providing events on and off campus that are free, inclusive, diverse, safe, and of course, fun. We do off-campus events about once a week, so we will go to places such as the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We do major events and weekly events. The major events, we do 3 to 4 a semester. We'll have a homecoming. We do Street to Center, where we take over the student center and do all sorts of rooms. We will go to things such as Carol Fest, which is a giant musical festival that we put on, where we bring in local Cleveland talent, people you might have heard of that are not from around Cleveland, but we like to bring them in to mix things up as well. So these are some of the places we've gone to in the past. Like I said, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, we've done it for homecoming. We did the Science Center last year. We've gone to the Browns Stadium. We've rented out the Indians Stadium, like up in their clubhouse. And it really gives the students the opportunity to go to places that you probably won't get a chance to unless you're with us. For our weekly events, we explore every single part of Cleveland that we can get to. So up in the top, we'll go to kind of off-the-wall places like the Caramoo House Theater, which is a really cool African-American historic marked theater. We just went there this semester and saw a really cool play. We've gone to places as simple as Dave & Buster's. We do a Little Italy trip, so we'll go down, we'll take you to dinner, and we'll help you explore Little Italy and all of the cool spots down there. Our favorite place to eat is Mama Santa's, and then we'll also make sure we walk down and go to Presti's, the famous bakery. We, of course, go to all the sports games we can. Indians, Browns, we'll take you up to a Lake Erie Monsters game about once or twice a semester. And then for this upcoming fall, we're planning a Kalahari trip. So that would be we'd take a Saturday night, go to what is a giant indoor water park, and possibly stay overnight. So the purpose of my organization is to provide an easy, free, I can't emphasize that enough, guys. It is so hard to find things that are free and easy for you to get to. Way for John Carroll students to socialize with each other and just to explore the wonderful city that Cleveland is. So to further upon that, Jennifer's going to talk to you guys about her company called Destination Cleveland, which is really trying to show new people how Cleveland can be the next great city that you visit. So, Jennifer.
Hi everybody, my name is Jen. I'm the Senior Communications Manager at Destination Cleveland. I also am a graduate of John Carroll 2004, so I'm really excited to be back here and talk about two of my passions, John Carroll, and then my passion for Cleveland. So I'm going to walk you through kind of what our organization does, but in doing so, we'll give you kind of an idea of how Cleveland has developed over the last several years, maybe shed some of those misconceptions you may have about what there is to do and see here. So my organization, our mission is to drive economic impact and stimulate community vitality for greater Cleveland through leisure and business travel. Lots of words. What does that mean? Simply stated, we're supposed to bring visitors here. We bring visitors here for vacations. We bring visitors here for meetings and conventions, for business-related activities. It is our job to promote city as a place for visitation. And when I say visitation in Cleveland, people kind of chuckle. They look at me like, who travels to Cleveland? Well, a lot of people do. And so in 2015, we had about 17.6 million visitors come to Cuyahoga County. That number has been, it's been an upward trend for the last 5 years. This is a number that is before a Republican National Convention, before Cavs championship and parade, and before World Series run. So people have been understanding Cleveland's on the rise, and they're coming here to find out for themselves. When they come here, they bring money, and they spend it at restaurants and bars and hotels and our attractions. So to the tune of $8.1 billion, money is coming into the region to further the visitor-related assets that we have. Travel and tourism also is the fourth largest employer. So after you leave John Carroll, there is opportunity for you out there, whether it is working as management in our hotels, whether, we have Uber drivers, we have all these wonderful people that are making up this hospitality industry. Our bars and restaurant owners, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So lots going on in the hospitality industry. And then from a tax revenue perspective, brings in about $1 billion in taxes per year. So we've had a lot of things going on. We haven't always had numbers like that. And so in the last 5 years, we've put a lot of money into the city, into our visitor-related infrastructure. So you'll see a lot of things that have been on the rise for a little bit, under construction. We have our new Hilton Hotel downtown. We have enhancement to our museums, the Museum of Contemporary Art, the Cleveland Museum of Art. We have the new flats revitalization. Playhouse Square, the largest theater district outside of New York City, right here in our hometown. Major enhancements, bringing the elements of the old historic theaters outside so people can see as they're walking down the streets. Cleveland Museum of Art just went through a $365 million renovation. It is a beautiful space, free, one of the only free art institutions in the country, right in our own backyard. And then more recently, the revitalization of our downtown urban core public square, a $50 million renovation to really bring the space back to its purpose of being a community center and gathering people and sharing in the celebration of our city. So it's been like that. We had a lot of things on the rise. You see we have great little dots, great little assets, but we had a really bad way of talking about them. People didn't know that they were here. So about 6 years ago, we brought a bunch of our hospitality stakeholders together to say, hey, you and I know we have great dots here, but how do we connect them? How do we get people to understand what we understand about our city? So we went down several routes. We talked about wayfinding connectivity, getting people from place to place. We talked about locals as ambassadors. How do we get Clevelanders to talk more positively about their community? Events, how do we host, when we have events, it brings people. So how do we make sure that people know what's going on here? We started with research, right? So 2012, we talked to leisure travelers, business travelers, residents, and meeting planners, and we said, well, what would make you come to Cleveland? And why aren't you coming, actually? So we learned 4 things. 1, Cleveland's difficult to navigate. Again, great dots, bad way of connecting them. Signage wasn't there. People didn't understand how to get from one great asset to another. Poor perceptions of clean, safe, and welcoming. Things like cracked sidewalks, things like dark alleys. Not very welcoming. You wouldn't go down there, you wouldn't want your kids going down those alleys. So we knew that was an issue. We had a communication gap, not a product gap. Again, we had good stuff, bad way of talking about it. And we knew this from people coming here. And once they got here, they understood. Once they were able to experience that product firsthand, they understood why Cleveland was a great place to be. It was the issue of getting them here. So to further that, you'll see, when you talk about Cleveland as a place, as an exciting place, an adult destination, as a luxury spot, the white shows the percentage of people who thought that those were actually attributes of Cleveland. Once they got here in the green, those numbers significantly increased. Again, they got here, they understood it, they were able to see the positive aspects of our community. And then the last one was poor resident recommendation. Hopefully a lot of you will become residents of this great city. And so, but when we looked at this several years ago, only 34% of people would recommend Cleveland as a visitor destination. When you go someplace, you go online, you ask people who have been there before, and then you ask people who live there. 34% of Clevelanders would recommend us as a destination. That's a bad number. So we knew we had some work to do. So we started thinking about Cleveland a little bit differently. We all have our allegiances to certain brands, whether it's Target or a certain restaurant or Limited. I love the Limited. So we had to start thinking of a city that way and presenting it that way and talking about these enhanced experiences that we could offer to people who were coming here so they could turn around then and tell other people about those experiences. So we had to change our narrative. So we did that through a branding effort. And so again, started in research and said, okay, who would come to Cleveland? Where's the gap? What's going on? Who's going to come here? Who's going to be open to coming here? And what we found is that millennials were more open to coming here because they didn't know about the Cuyahoga burning river. They didn't know about the economic downturn. So we knew that that was an area that we could start talking about conversation in a real way. It's not that it was negative, it was just indifferent. They just didn't know. So we started to hone in on that group because we knew that people about over 50, they remembered that stuff. Those were images. That burning river, that's an image that still is in people's minds. In fact, you talk to people, I think they still think it's burning. It is not. It is, we're in a good place and there's good stuff going on. And so when we talk about this Cleveland Rocks idea, everyone remembers the Ian Hunter song. It was the Drew Carey theme song. That's how we started describing our community. But when we started talking to people about it and asking them what they thought, they said, well, it sounds a little 80s. It's outdated, it's played out, and then I would start fresh. So start fresh we did. Because we knew people had this visceral reaction to our community. You say, hey, I'm going to Cleveland. They're like, ugh, why? You know, you get that all the time. You still get it, less now, but you get it. So it was more than a slogan, it was more than a Cleveland Rocks, it was an attitude that we had to start putting together. So we started talking about this brand, stories about what people are doing here, and coming from word of mouth experiences of visitors and residents who were here. That was the story we had to share with other people. So we had to shift that narrative. We had to talk to these millennials, we had to talk to these Gen Xers, we had to go beyond rock and roll. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is one of my favorite attractions here, not just because, I'm not just telling you that, it's an amazing place, but there's so much more. It's the only one of its kind in the world, but we had to go beyond that rock and roll. And then again, we had to promote that attitude, not a tagline. So what we did was we got the best in the world to help us, MMGY Global. They do branding campaigns for Trump Hotels, for Barbados, Walt Disney. So we had to get them here and help us a little bit understand our destination. And so some of the questions we went through, and you can attest to this too if you've gone and traveled, if no two destinations are alike, then why do they all sound the same? So you could be going somewhere and you could be researching, you could hear something like, people don't realize all there is to do and see here. You've probably heard that before. And we have something for everyone. You've heard that before. And all those other places, you could say, yeah, I'll go there, that's great. But people, when we said it, they're like, yeah, but you're still Cleveland. So we kind of started thinking about it in this way. Anthony Bourdain has a quote that we really started to really take hold of, and it says, few people go to New Orleans because it's a normal city or a perfect one or a safe one. They go because it's crazy, borderline dysfunctional, permissive, shabby, alcoholic, and batshit crazy, and because it looks like nowhere else. So it's the idea of being versus trying. We're not going to try and be New York City. We're not going to try and be Chicago, because guess what? We're not. So we have to be ourselves. Everyone else is taken. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to put that essence of what we thought Cleveland was into an anthem. And so before we put this anthem together in front of people, we asked Cleveland, what do you think of Cleveland? If you're not familiar with how these work, word clouds. The bigger the word, the more often that came up when you asked people what they thought of Cleveland. So here you see Hall of Fame, rock and roll, sports, not a lot of diversity there. So then we played our anthem for them and asked them the same question. And this is what we showed them. That's our anthem. And that's what we showed folks. And when we asked them again what they thought about Cleveland, we got this. We did. What did I do? We got something, I promise.
It's build suspense.
Awesome, okay, yeah. The big reveal, right?
Yes.
So this is what they said. Nightlife, culture, Hall of Fame, sports. Look at those, look at the words that are in there, the big words, the words that you didn't see before, people didn't understand. And these aren't things that we orchestrated. These are real events that were happening and that we wanted to combine and tell our story. So, you can look back. So Cleveland, our new brand. And so when we boil it down, this is what we say, our promise. While we have world-class arts, culture, and rock and roll, we never take ourselves too seriously. The result is irreverent and fun and always unmistakably Cleveland. You be yourself and we'll be ourselves. So how do we do it? How do we project this idea, this promise? So we talk about world-class Cleveland, world-class experiences without that world-class ego. And we highlight things like the Cleveland Orchestra, one of the best in the world. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, again, the only of its kind right here in Cleveland. Museums, we talked about the Cleveland Museum of Art, the Cleveland Botanical Gardens. We have the most concentrated square mile of arts and culture phenomenon right down the street in University Circle. Our theaters, again, Playhouse Square, largest theater district outside of New York City. We have amazing restaurants. We'll talk about our chefs who have traveled the world and come back to Cleveland to build their businesses in Cleveland. Our professional sports team, that's a better story nowadays. But so we have amazing, even if we weren't amazing, we still have amazing pride here that supports our sports teams. Now we have championships and World Series runs to back that up. Metro parks, parks and outdoors, lots of green space, lots of things to do. Locally, Cleveland. It's not just downtown Cleveland, it's not just it's a core, the core, it's really the neighborhoods, and each one has its own unique vibe to it. So we talk about those neighborhoods. We're going to talk about, we talked about Coventry this morning, which is right down the road. We talked about the West Side with Tremont, Ohio City. Lots of these places are hosting their own festivals and events and really showcasing their assets through those things. And in all of them, regardless of where you go, we all have this "you're one of us" attitude. Pull your bar stool over and we'll talk. We'll take you out to coffee. We really want people who are coming here and experiencing Cleveland to have that genuine experience. It's not something we script for people, it just happens. Unmistakably Cleveland. Things people don't have, the West Side Market, 100-year-old indoor-outdoor public market. Third-generation families are there. They have bratwurst stands, they have produce stands. It's an amazing place to go. It's free. We know we'll talk about that later. But it's this vibe of just going down and people selling and connecting us to the cultures that make up our community. A Christmas Story house, the home that was rebuilt screen by screen for the movie Christmas Story. You can go through there. You can take tours. It's a great place to be all year round, not just around Christmas time. Our food scene, again, rock star chefs Michael Simon, Jonathan Sawyer. Again, these people have gone around the world and come back to Cleveland to say, this is my home and this is where I want to be. We have the Happy Dog, really unique hot spots. Happy Dog is a hot dog joint, actually, and they have you can choose from 50 toppings to put on your hot dog. Everything from Fruit Loops to peanut butter to you name it, they have it, and people have tried to pile as much on there. It's a great experience. They also have a polka band that comes in every third Thursday. Lots of great experiences, great unique venues that make up our community. So we're irreverent. So I talked about polka and hot dogs. We have this idea of we are who we are and come and feel welcome. We play hard, we work hard. And that's something that really makes up our community in a genuine, authentic way. And when we talk about how we say it, these are the elements that we have. We're proud and unpretentious, unapologetic, progressive, and passionate. And hashtag this is CLE. This is something that has really taken off. It started about 2013 because we wanted people to share their stories. I talked about that 34%, low number, right? But a lot of passion behind that number. So we wanted to give people a platform to share their stories. Take pictures of the place that you live, work, and play, and share it with the world. So we'll use these images. If people take them, they post them to social media, use the hashtag. We use these for our advertising because who's better to tell the story of Cleveland than Clevelanders themselves? Hashtag this is CLE. I was so excited I walked over to the Dolan Center. These letters are here. You can take your pictures with them. We encourage it. But what this is we take these letters and we take this food truck and we go out into the communities. We go out to the neighborhoods in the suburbs. Because I think too, while there's a perception problem with visitors, there's also a perception problem with locals. And a lot of people live in the suburbs, but they don't come downtown. I call them our 20-mile tourists. And so if they're not gonna come downtown, then we're gonna take downtown to them. And so we take this food truck, it's a food truck, we don't serve food, we serve agendas and information and itineraries of people who are interested, hey, I'm interested in seeing the historic side of Cleveland, great. We have an itinerary for that, and we can show you around town. And people take their pictures with these letters because they're that passionate about their town and showcasing what is here and the experiences that they're having. We've done a lot of work with our connectivity and wayfinding, getting people from place to place, empowering that visitor, empowering residents on their journey, getting rid of those cracked sidewalks, those dark alleys, and making sure people feel good about traveling through their community. The Cleveland Visitor Center, something that's huge for those who are out of town, something that's huge for residents. Come in, talk to us, let us help you explore your community. If you've lived here, we're still here for you. If you're new here, we're here for you. We have an amazing concierge team that really talks about the new things that are going on in Cleveland and can really direct you to some of that, new and old. It doesn't always have to be new. And staying informed about Cleveland is huge. So I hope that a lot of people are choosing Cleveland, are staying informed. You're going to be making your decisions if you haven't already. It's a great way to stay informed about the community that you're going to be part of, potentially. It is an exciting time for Cleveland. It's an exciting time for John Carroll. It's an exciting time in your lives. And over the last several years, we've really made a lot of progress, and there's more work to come. We always say, we have all this success, but it only makes us have to work harder because we want to make sure that we're a destination of choice next to a Nashville or Chicago and things. We want people to understand the unique experiences they will have here. So please keep informed with us, or stay connected to us, stay informed. And that's the end of the presentation, but before I leave, one thing, I mentioned that 34% of residents who would recommend Cleveland as a visitor destination. Well, just the other day we had our annual meeting, and I'm very excited to say that the number has actually gone from 34% to 77%, because people are really understanding Cleveland as a destination. So there's a lot going on here. It's an exciting time to be here, an exciting to be part of John Carroll, an exciting time to be part of the community. And so I just wanted to kind of close with one more video that kind of showcases that progress. And so I'll leave you with that.
Cleveland is vibrant.
Everybody's so nice. I mean, really nice. That, to me, is the ultimate in hospitality.
It is very, very difficult to do a world-class global event in anybody's hometown.
The city put on one of the most famous conventions I've ever seen.
We definitely appreciate
So I will say, I didn't say this before, that the group that provided the music was Cleveland's Contemporary Youth Orchestra. So lots of good stuff. So we're on the path to greatness. So I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you. I mentioned in the last session too, and we watched both of those videos in the last session. And the first one, every time I see it, it gives me goosebumps, and then this one makes me tear up. So it's just an emotional roller coaster, I think, but definitely really passionate about being here in Cleveland, and I'm proud to call myself a Clevelander now. So at this point, does anyone have any questions about anything that we have talked about? Anything in particular? Okay, so I have a few questions for our panelists. Again, if you guys have anything that comes to mind, feel free to jump in there. Pretty casual in here. So from your two different perspectives, what are some things that you guys think keep graduates of John Carroll in the area after they graduate, even if they're coming from different states around Northeast Ohio? What are some of the big draws?
So for me, the network, the John Carroll network, the John Carroll community after graduation is huge. I actually, Cleveland born and raised, I actually went to high school farther than I went to college, so I lived in the area. But I did business connections that I got. I worked at an agency coming out of John Carroll. I actually worked there my senior year right downtown. And every time you talk to somebody about either if you're interested in a different career, you want to talk with someone about what they're doing, you say you're a John Carroll kid, and they're like, okay, you know, they will, when you want to meet for coffee tomorrow, 9 o'clock. I mean, it's incredible, and it's just the network that we have here too, and the idea of really wanting to keep good people in Cleveland, and grow all these other segments that we have that are so instrumental to our city's renaissance. So I think that's huge, and it's just John Carroll, the Alumni Association, does a great job of making sure we're all connected and staying connected with each other, and from a business perspective, it's great from a livability perspective. I grew up on the east side, I live on the west side, and you can afford it and you can have a life, and there's just a lot of great opportunities that are here for folks once they graduate. So I'm thankful I had the opportunity to go to Chicago and things, and it just wasn't right. I had to be here. So
I think one of the best ways to express it is that John Carroll is a great little school. They say that all the time when you come here. It's a small-sized school, but in a huge network in Cleveland, around Cleveland. People who were here, moved away, they still remember Cleveland and John Carroll. One of the premier reasons I came was the reputation. As a Jesuit university, that is something you can't put a price on, honestly. I reached out on LinkedIn as a business student. You always do them. I reached out on LinkedIn. I've gone up to people, cold call people. They used to work at Student College Center. You can call any alumni, and they want to talk to you. They want to say, oh my gosh, how's it going? Like, how's John Carroll? What's changed? This is what it was like when I was back there. It's just something that I have not found anywhere else. I'm actually from Pittsburgh, and when I was looking at business schools around Pittsburgh, I couldn't find what John Carroll has to offer. And I didn't think I would like Cleveland. I still have prejudices against it because of Pittsburgh. I love the city. It is a great city. So I don't think you can express that more so than that. Once, if you guys use that out there, you will understand.
Okay, so how about you guys both mentioned some different neighborhoods around Cleveland. Can you talk a little bit more about maybe your favorite neighborhood in particular, or one that's really popular with people our age, or somewhere that students might find themselves a lot?
I personally, Coventry is my favorite. It's super close to John Carroll. It's like a 15-minute drive. And there's the Grog Shop, which is a cool little music venue that you can go to. They put stuff weeknights, all weekends. There's places to eat. There's thrift stores. There's like history, shopping places. It's such a great place to just go for like that day and just see this little tiny, it's like this big neighborhood of Cleveland. Outside of that, I love the West Side Market area too, because there's the market and then you can walk around and it's very authentic. So as far as the ease of accessibility, Coventry is the best, but going downtown is also
these developing communities that are just on the cusp of becoming major attractions. And that's kind of the fun part, right? When you're starting to see kind of this grassroots effort explode. Gordon Square, Detroit Shoreway, they have amazing theaters over there. They have, the music scene is something that I just cannot talk about enough here. It's really something that I've gotten involved with over the past few years. And you could go to hear these amazing bands and you're standing literally like right in front of them because they're hearing about people that are coming here and you're having this experience with them. Waterloo is another area that Keisha and Baldwin is there, and they have all these amazing bands that come there, and great food, great beer, great for students and for parents who are coming back to visit. So there are a lot of different neighborhoods, and the cool part about it, they're all kind of happening now, and I think that that's a little unique for areas. So we're all experiencing this renaissance together. So besides West Side, there's a lot of good stuff to do.
So with a lot of good things to do, if students don't have cars their freshman year, can you talk a little bit about ways that they can get around both with SUPB and then public transportation?
Sure. So with SUPB, every time we do an off-campus event, we provide transportation, whether that's a bus or we rent a van. We also use the RTA for the sports teams. We do that, and then we also have a shuttle that runs not for SUPB, but just the John Carroll shuttle that runs just to like the area around here. So we'll go to Target, Macy's, Beechwood, Legacy. That way, if you want to just like pop out, take groceries, or like have a shopping mall day, you can. I know you talk a lot more about the RTA because that's a great way to.
Yeah, so RTA is great. So the rapid station not far from here. When I was here, we always took the rapid downtown. But the RTA also has about 450 buses that travel, that transit throughout the entire community. So RTA's site is, the whole system is world class. So you can easily map out where you want to go, how to get there, what bus to take, where to get off. It's cheap. We talked about it. It's $5 all-day pass, which is great. When you get downtown, they also have trolleys, which are free. I was joking before, they call them Smile and Ride, but you really don't have to smile, they'll just let you on anyway. But they take you around the city, so they'll take you down to the Shoreway, they'll take you down to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and all around. So lots of easy ways to get downtown. Even when I had a car and I worked downtown, I didn't take my car. I took the RTA, I took the bus. So many easy ways to get around downtown. Uber's really popular here now. I take that a lot too, so we will not be without.
Yes.
The green trolleys. Yep. There's like C line, B line. I don't know which routes they go, but yeah, you'll see them riding around downtown. Bus drivers are fantastic. They will help you wherever you want to go. So just let them know.
Okay, so McKenna, since you're a business student and a junior, a lot of your friends and my friends too, might be getting internships or looking to be getting jobs. So can you maybe mention some popular companies that are around the Cleveland area that students like to work with?
Yeah, sure. I know that personally I have an internship with the Libersol Corporation this summer, which has its corporate headquarters here in Cleveland. Really popular ones, at least in the business school, Sherwin-Williams, all the accounting ones like the Big Four. You're an accounting student here, it's like you're getting it. I know people in our grade who already have accepted full-time positions with the Big Four after senior year. I'm trying to think of other ones.
The clinic is a big
Yeah,
one.
I think the clinic is a huge one.
Lots of advertising agencies and things like that. New Destination Cleveland, they have a pretty robust internship program. It's nice because not only is it summer, we offer summer opportunities, but we offer opportunities throughout the year too, because it's a quick drive from Carroll downtown. So yeah, we're using, but marketing communications is also big in Cleveland, and a lot of people. We have a lot of nonprofits too. It's come together, which is, it was playing in the atrium when I went there, which is really bizarre.
I did that on purpose.
We have a large nonprofit sector here, and so I actually interned at the Ronald McDonald House here as well. I got reached through Dr. Flynn, I don't know if she's still here at Carroll, and it's unpaid, but it was people need good people to do good work, and so we have a pretty robust internship opportunities throughout the city.
I'll add too, I have friends who are working with the Cleveland Indians for the season, and those are always awesome internships. They have really cool opportunities, and Courtney Fallon, she was a tour guide last year. She was offered a full-time position and has had multiple promotions in her 2 years with the Indians. And then we also have a lot of students who work in the arts in Cleveland, so internships with Playhouse Square, the Cleveland Orchestra, you can be a student ambassador with them, so a lot of opportunities throughout the area. Okay, and then one other thing, and then we'll have a minute here for some questions if you guys have anything else. Jen, you had mentioned the festivals and flea markets and those kinds of things to do throughout the season, so could you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So we, are you going to ask the seasons question at the end?
Sure, yeah. Okay, well, I can phrase it. Last time I asked what your guys' favorite season was in Cleveland. So that was, I guess, how it kind of came up, but I liked what you said about the festivals.
So my thing was, I had said kind of all of them, and I wasn't trying to not answer the question,
Yeah.
but because I do like all of them, because, fall is beautiful and everything, especially with the metro parks and what have you. But winter is great too, and we have a huge ethnic community here. We have, I think, about 117 ethnicities represented in Cleveland, and there's a bath for everything, but there's also a festival for everything. And so I'm Slovenian, so we go to Karavanja, which is a festival designed to scare away winter. It's in February, and it's snowing, and it's freezing, and it's my favorite day of the year. So, so winter, I look forward to that in the winter. We have music festivals that are also outside, kind of this idea of what's going to happen between New Year's and St. Patrick's Day. Well, we should have embrace the snow and get outside and listen to music. So, again, just another nod to our amazing music scene here. So Slovenian festival, Asian festival, Italian festival, you name it, we've got it. That's a big thing for us too, as a destination Cleveland, just to make sure people are coming for these events and pulling people out from outside the region. And so even for Bonnaroo and things like that, it's kind of what we're doing here, and that's really growing fast and furious here too. So
There's the Garlic Festival in Shaker Square too.
That's
a popular,
yeah.
There's some good ones out there. And then the flea market is, it's called the Cleveland Flea, and that's in Tyler Village area. And that's one of my favorite events. It's the second Saturday of every month. So if you guys, it's April through October, I want to say. And it's a really neat kind of art market almost, and they have food vendors there, and it's a really great time to kind of see the vibe of Cleveland and the different vendors and art scenes. So I really enjoy going to that, and we're upset when we miss it because it's like we have to wait a whole month to go back. But McKenna, did you have your favorite season?
Yeah, my favorite season is definitely like late fall, late summer, early fall, where Blossom is still hosting events, but it's like not super humid anymore. So, Blossom's such a cool music venue. You can do the lawn tickets for $20 and go see almost anybody. And then that's about when we come back for school, so SUPB can do on-campus events, like we'll do movie nights on the quad and all this other fun stuff. So that's my favorite season.
That's awesome. Well, does anyone in the audience, you guys have any questions or anything? Okay. Well, before we wrap up then, another reminder that we have the blue and gold tickets for when you guys head out, so make sure that you fill those out and drop them off. For the rest of the day, it's on your programs here. There's a lot going on, so just kind of plan out your time and let any of the students know if you need help walk to somewhere. But I would like to extend a personal congratulations to all of our students who have been accepted. I know it's kind of an overwhelming time, but you guys are at a really exciting part of your life. And this was the day that I put my deposit down for John Carroll. So it's my Carrollversary, I guess. It's a really fun day, a good time to get a pulse on the campus and kind of see if you can picture yourself here, just soak in the mood and the energy. But I hope you all enjoy your day, and if you need more information, there's neighborhood guides back there. My business card is back there if you guys have any questions. And I also encourage you, as you're getting closer to making your decision, to come back for a personalized visit where you can meet with professors in your major, have a personal tour, look at some more specific things that you're interested in. So all those things, let anyone know if you guys need help throughout the day, and go Blue Streaks. Thanks for coming.